Anthony Smoak. Go ahead and check me out on anthonysmoak.com. Follow me on Twitter at AnthonySmoak. As always, if you learned something, go ahead, hit that like button, leave a comment, and make sure you ring the bell so you get that notification when I drop a new video. Today, back in Tableau, going to talk about this VIZNESS First initiative. Got a business dashboard here, and I'm trying to give you interesting projects. If you're a little further along in Tableau, beginners can attempt it as well, but want to step through some of the methodologies used to put together a dashboard that I did as part of the Real World Fake Data Initiative led by Mark Bradburn at Tableau. Right, so let me go over here to the next slide, and you'll notice that I have some resources here where I show you where you can go to get some tips on how to put together the dashboard that I'm going to show you and that I showed in the first video here. But in this video, we're going to address this filter indicators. I think this is the meat of the dashboard here, and this was put together by Lindsay Betzendahl as a Zen master, right? So we're going to go over this technique, and hopefully this should help you put together the dashboard that we're going to cover here in just a second. So if we take a look here, this is the dashboard that I put together, calling it Help Desk TPR Report Generator. Again, if you know what movie I'm referring to when I talk about Initech and TPR, put that in the comments. But you can see this is a help desk kind of summary dashboard. And so if I select a ticket status, you'll notice that I get this nice little indicator here, meaning that this is selected. So this isn't filtered, right? It's just saying that I'm filtering everything else by, let's say, open ticket status. And so all these numbers change to update. If I select, let's say, a low severity, right? You'll see I also get the indicator here. All the other numbers and charts on here update. So there's a filter action that's making that happen. But this chart in and of itself is not filtered when I select something here, right? It's filtered because I do have this ticket status selected. But, if I, let's look at owner group here. If I select, it is already filtered, but when I select this, again, you'll see all the 438s, right? They all line up, and then all of these charts change as well. I can, change the this chart here using the button from Kevin Flerledge that I list in the references, so definitely check out the blog post there. So we're going to go over essentially this filter indicator in this video, right? And so later, maybe in another video, we'll talk about, you'll see I have this indicator that shows how many records are selected, right? 438 records, and so they'll be low for the architecture group and open ticket status. If I select view TPR report, right, I get that detail. I get those 438 records, right? And they're all low severity, and I can go back. So we'll talk about this maybe on another video, but for now, we're going to talk about filter indicators. So let's get into this. So I'm in Tableau, and there's basically two ways that you can, well, there's multiple ways, I'm just going to show you two, right? So there are two ways that you can build out your selectors, right? And we're going to build out a selector for the ticket status and the owner group. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I'm linked to Real World Fake Data Help Desk. I believe this is week 5 in that series. And I have the link on where you get the data linked to this. This will probably be on my blog and linked here in the comments and description as well. So let's take a look at the data. First thing we're going to do, we're going to grab the ticket status and let's bring that into rows. And then on the marks, I'm going to grab ticket number and I'll bring that into text. And I don't want to see all of these ticket numbers here. Basically, we're going to change this to a measure account distinct. So I get a distinct count of how many tickets correspond to that status. Now I'm going to take I'm going to hold down Control here, and I'm going to place this on color. And you'll see the colors change a little bit here. I'm going to change this to square. We end up with something like that. Then I'm going to go, let's go entire view here. And then let's put a sort on this. So I'm going to go in here to sort, go descending. Well, not data sort order. So we're going to go by a field descending, right? The count distinct. That gets me my highest value on top. I'm going to change the color here. Let's go ahead and do that. I mean, you don't have to do this. This is just the color that I like. I like this little blue right here. Say apply. All right, so there we go. We got that nice little blue here. And then on the label, just going to do a little bit of cleanup here. On the label, I want to change this to a, let's say, we got Tableau, but let's change this to 12 and make it bold, so that'll pop just a little bit there. There we go there. Now I'm going to right click on the, see how we have this line here up top? I'm just going to right click in here and we'll go to format, and I'm going to look for borders, right? These borders, and on the sheet. And then on row dividers in this pane, let's go none. You'll see that gets rid of that line there. That's good. And now I want to create a set based upon my ticket status field. And I've done that already. So if I go in there, you see I have a set based upon the ticket status. But just in case, you can go right here, ticket status, create set, right? Now, I'm not going to create it. I already have it pre-created here, but essentially this is all you do. And I've just named mine set ticket status, right? So we have a set that's going to have the ticket statuses in there. Now, we'll need to create a calculated field. Basically, this is going to be our indicator, right? It's going to be the indicator that tells us if something is selected. So we'll create a calculated field. I have this filter indicator ticket status. Let's go here, take a look at this. You're going to create it, but I already have it pre-created, so we'll just take a look here. So what's going on here? So this is again, the methodology using this from Lindsay Betzendahl here. But essentially what's going on here is if something is selected in the set, so if there is a value in the set, essentially, then I want to register 1, right? And then you have to throw an aggregate around it. So we're just saying average. It's just, we're just going to go with 1 here because we're only really going to have one thing selected at a time. So basically, if something is selected, give it a value of 1. And this is a fixed level of detail. We're using exclude here because we don't want to pay attention to what's happening to the ticket status essentially on the worksheet. It's like excluding, like don't worry about ticket status. Just know that if something is in the set, right? Don't worry about what's going on the visualization. If something is in the set, then register a 1, right? So if I sum that, I'm going to get greater than 0. That means that something is in the set, right? Something has been selected, which we want to show up this circle. Now, if nothing has been selected in the set, then we'll have a blank here. So that's what's going on here. That's my explanation. Obviously there's a lot you can look up on LODs if you want more detail on that, but essentially that is the methodology that Lindsay is using and we're borrowing. So great. And that will work. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to let's go ahead and hide this field label so we get rid of that. So now that's looking a little bit cleaner. I'm going to hold this guy. I'm going to hold down Control because I want this on the tooltip. And then we'll go into the tooltip. And you'll see I have this distinct count of ticket number. I don't know why it's not showing up here. Oh, what I need to do, right? So I put it on the tooltip. Let me just drag this down here. So let's go in here. Let's do a quick table calc, percent of total. Now if I go in here, there we go. That's looking a little better. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I want the percent. I just want to show percent of total here. Say OK. So now we get that percent of total for each of the statuses. And then I only want to show, let's go ahead and format this. I only want to show in the pane here. Where is it? Is it percentage? Is that that's my, there we go. I only want to show the first two digits, or basically I don't want to show any decimal places. So there we go, 72, 13, 12, 2. So there we go. Now let's bring in our filter indicator for the ticket status, right? We're going to put that on the, well, no, yeah, we're going to put that on the detail, right? So that detail has to be there so we can use it in the title. So now if I go to insert and our filter indicator ticket status, and then I'm just going to change this to a different color. I mean, whatever color you want to use is fine. We'll go with a nice little gold there. And so what's going to happen is, you see, I can do this. Go over here to your set. You can show set. Click that. And I already have this shown. And you'll notice when I click something in the set, that indicator shows up. So basically, if we go back to our formula, we're saying if one item, right, is selected in the set, then return that Unicode circle. And so you can see what's happening. As I select one item, that Unicode circle shows up. Now, obviously, on our dashboard, we're not going to have this open and we're selecting things. We're going to we're going to have it so we click on this and that indicator shows up. And the only way we can do that is with a set action. But we'll get to that when we get to the dashboard piece. So now let's go ahead and set up building the owner group selector. So this is one way you can do a selection sheet. And I'll show you the other method that I used as well for this. All right, so this is method 2 to build out a selector, and we're going to do that for the owner group, right? This is, I'm going to call this the Lucky Charms selector method because we're using all these different shapes, diamonds and crosses and stars. So in any event, let's start this up here. So we're going to create a calculated field. I want you to create a calculated field that I already have pre-calculated called fake axis. And it's just a value of 1. So we float because we want decimal. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take fake axis and we're going to drag that to columns, right? And we get something like that. And I'm going to place owner group on rows. Let's do that. We end up with something like that. And I'm also going to place owner group on the label. So we have something like that. Now I want to place a distinct count of ticket number on the label. Let's take ticket number. Let's put that on the label. And then this is going to be a distinct count. So we'll go measure, count distinct. Don't worry, it'll start looking better, but this is what we have at this point. And actually I can go into the label here and just do a little, I want to show the ticket number first. So I'm just going to do a little cut and pasting there. I want to show the ticket number first. And let's make this maybe Tableau Bold 12. I want this to stand out. Tableau Bold 12. And then the other one, Tableau Book's fine, but we'll also make it 12 as well. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, that doesn't look bad. And let's make this entire view. So we'll go to entire view. We end up with something like this. We don't necessarily need this value right here. What I can do, let's go ahead and hide. Let's hide the show header here. And then let's not forget to change this to a shape, right? That's how we kind of get our lucky charms here, where we're starting to get some lucky charms here. And now we're also going to take owner group, right? We'll take owner group and we'll put that on the shape. And you start seeing we get kind of different, let's change the size up a little bit here. Let's make that a little bigger. And then we can go in and we can change, what the shapes are. But we're going to go with this for now. We'll just leave it like this. Let's change the color. Let's do something like that. I just kind of like that color. It stands out a little bit. And then what we want to do is we're going to play around with the axis. So you see the fake axis. gives us this from 0 to 1.05 here, and everything's lined up on the 1. So how do we move this over? We play with the axis, or we change the axis. So let's edit the axis, and I'm going to go down here to fixed, and then I'm just play with the parameters. I know I want like 0.92 to like 1.92. That's just kind of trial and error. You play around with it, and you'll notice once I do that, everything kind of moves over, right? So, you know, that looks good. We already did the size. All right, that's fine. Let's remove these lines here. Let's get rid of the axis. We don't need to, right? We can get rid of that. And then let's go in here to format. I'm going to go to lines, columns. Go in here to lines. Go in here to columns, grid lines. And I'm going to say none. That turns that off. But you'll notice we still have kind of this faint outline here. And so if we go to sheet, axis rulers, and turn that off, right, we get rid of that faint outline here, right? So now we're looking fresh and clean. On the tooltip, kind of same as before. I'm going to maybe take this, hold down Control, put that on the tooltip, bring that down, right? And on this guy, so that shows up. Well, that should show up. If I go in here to tooltip, up. I always forget this step. So we want to show a quick table calc % of total. So now when I go in here we go. I always forget that little step. Let's get rid of all this extracurricular stuff here. Right, boom, that's gone. And I only want % of total to show here as a description. We do that. That's there. And then I'm going to go in here and do the format thing. We'll go into pane, numbers, percentage. Nothing there. I go in. There we go. I have no decimal points. So we have this. And so now we're at a point where we create our set. We create our calculated field for owner group, and then we place it in the title. So same as you've done before, you're going to create a set based off of owner group, right? You go into owner group, create a set, right? I've already done that. So we have that. We need that set. That's going to help us when we get to the dashboard portion, change our values, our set values, so we get an indicator that shows up. Then you're also going to create your filter indicator for the owner group, right? It's going to look like this, right? Same concept as we discussed earlier. Just set that up. And then we're going to go in here to our owner group. Oh, sorry. We'll take the filter indicator owner group, put that on detail, right? So it's available. Now I come in here, I'm going to insert the filter indicator owner group, say, oh, well, let me change the color. So let's change this color to my blue here, say okay. Now if I show set, right? Nothing's in the set, but once I put something in the set, architecture, you see I get my indicator, right? That's the beauty. So now we're going to put these two selectors onto the dashboard here, and we'll set up kind of the actions that are required to get them to play nice and filter with each other. So we'll look at that in a second here. All right, so I'm on a blank dashboard here. All I did was create a blank dashboard. And so let's go ahead and change the dimensions here. And again, you can change this to whatever works for you. I'm going to go with 1200 by 800 here. And again, I'm a fan of the Curtis Harris method. Again, one of the references that I've given you, and I have some videos that show you a little bit how I lay things out as well. But we're going to take a floating vertical, right? And I'm just going to place it in here. And then on the layout, guess what? This is going to be in position 1, 1. And it's going to be 1200 by 800. So now I have that. So I don't have to worry about all of this this tiling that occurs. Oh, so what just happened here? This is in position 1, 1. And 1200, it didn't take my 800, right? We go 800 here, right? This is live, people. So, all right. So 1200 by 800, we have this big mega container vertical here. So now I'm going to put some verticals in my super container, so to speak. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to take a vertical. It's still floating. I'm going to hold down Shift, put that in there. That's great. I'm going to take another vertical, hold down Shift, put that in there. So I have two verticals. I'm going to put this in the middle. I like in the middle here because you can see exactly kind of where it's going. So I've laid out four here. So if we go to layout, let's see that's nice and clean, real easy to read, nothing tiled. So I've got four verticals. You could use this one for your title if you want to. I'm probably going to have to delete some of these out because when you bring charts in here, things start screwing up. But stuff happens. And so I'm going to use this bottom one just real quick here. We're going to put some text here in this bottom one, and we'll do something like that. Say okay. Oops. Let's do this. Bam. Right. Always give credit. Always give shout out to your inspirations there. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Some of you need to do a little better job of that, but give credit to your inspirations. Now, we have a setup here. I'm going to drag, this is where, if we look at the dashboard, this is where my bottom charts would go, but I'm going to put the selectors in here. So again, you could use this top area for your header or what have you, but we're going to drag our two selectors into this medium area here, this middle area, right? So now we have ticket status and we have owner group. So I'm going to bring the ticket status in there. Right, and you'll see this junk fills up, and we'll have to put another vertical in here. That's okay. And I'm going to put this over here. And so this is smart enough to recognize that, hey, you were vertical, but since you're laying me out horizontally, I'm going to change to a horizontal. So you see we have vertical, and it changed to a horizontal, and I have those two in there, right? And that's my bottom vertical with my text in there. So we'll close that up. So essentially I have these two, and it puts some chart junk up here that I want to get rid of. So what I'm going to do here is we'll just do this. We'll just start getting rid of stuff, filters and whatnot, all this good stuff. Just boom, you're gone. And then what I can do is, if I needed to, if I were building out the full dashboard, just bring another vertical up here, right? And so it's clean. Go back to our layout. There we go. So that's our super container, and it's filled with three verticals. There's our horizontal. So anyway, we have something like this. So now we need to get these guys to interact with the dashboard, so to speak. So we've set that up. So how do we do that? Let's create a dashboard set action. So not worksheet. We're going to go to dashboard. And I believe I have actions already set up. Okay, so not for this one. That's okay. All right, so dashboard actions. Let's do this. Let's add an action, and it's going to be change set values. And this is going to be, we'll call this set action. What is this? Ticket status, right? Something like that. And then this is going to be ticket status. When I select, we're going to assign values to the set. Which set? Ticket status. And we're going to remove all values from the set when I clear the selection. All right, so I'm going to say OK here. And then I also want to add a filter action. So this is going to be set action, filter action, sorry. Filter action, ticket status on select. So when I select ticket status, it's going to affect my other selector owner group. If I had multiple target sheets, I could select additional ones, but I don't want to select the sheet in and of itself. I don't want to select the source sheet. So clearing the selection, we're going to we'll keep it on show all values. That's fine. And then all fields. So that should work. So let's say OK here. And so what happens if I select something? You'll see, right? So you'll see I got my indicator, and then this updates, right? I come over here to hit resolved. All of that is changing. So essentially that is how we set this up, right? I can do the same thing for the owner group if I wanted to. Well, sure, we're here. If you have the time, I have the time. So let's go in here. Let's go dashboard, actions. Let's get that owner group working. So same deal, right? let's do a change set values, right? And this is going to be set action owner group. So when I select the owner group, assign values to set, make sure you select the set owner group, remove all values from set when I clear. And then let's add the filter action as well. Filter, this is going to be on owner group, select, and it's going to affect the ticket status, right? It's kind of the reverse. And so this is going to be filter action owner group. Say okay. We have those set up. We have those 4 set up. Say okay. So now when I go in here, let's clear this out, right? Now when I go in here to the owner group, you'll see I have that, that indicator, and then my values over here start changing, right? They should add up to the totals, right? See how that works? Things are changing. So we have this set up, right? And so if we were to go back to the dashboard here for a second, right? So again, this is the same thing. What I've given you is ticket status and owner group. You would repeat the process for severity. The only difference with severity is that, here, let's go into this. The only difference here is that I'm not using the raw field severity. I'm using a calculated field because I want to truncate some leading values. So I do a mid severity, comma 5 to get rid of kind of there's like a 01, there's a number, 01 dash high, 02 dash medium, whatever it is. I want to get rid of it. So that's the only difference for severity. This is essentially like ticket status, just laid out a different way. It's just that I have the filter indicator in its own sheet, right? So if you go here, it's really in its own sheet. If I were to select something, I could show, so this is satisfaction score. So let's see if I go in here, if I show set, nope, so sorry, this must be the string. Show set, go in here, there we go. So when I select something, but we're really only going to select one thing at a time. So when I select something, it shows up. So that's the only thing. You'll notice I have a set satisfaction score for strings. We can look at that. I'm just kind of splitting off the satisfaction score from the main field. So the satisfaction score, I'm pulling out the kind of the last year. I only want the string value from the satisfaction score. So if you go to the data source and look at the satisfaction score, I only want that string value, right? I don't want the 0-2. Anyway, I'm giving you a little bit more detail than what you probably asked for at this point. So just a quick review on what we've done. When I click on the selection, right, my set action that we created adds the value to the set. And when it adds the value to the set, the calculated field, that field indicator, the 2 field indicator calculated fields, returns this Unicode value if a member is added to the set. Remember, the set action adds this value to the set so that this can show up in the calculated field. And then a filter action filters the other chart. So 4 steps. We click the selection, right? The set action adds the value to the set. The calculated field returns an indicator if there's a member in the set. And then the filter action filters the additional charts, right? Quick, if we look at the explainer table that I have here, here's our ticket status, the set, and the indicator. If I select one thing, guess what? This is in, and then that shows up, right? That's kind of how this works. The only difference is instead of me manually adding it, when I use the set action, we're clicking on it in the dashboard to do this same thing. So that's kind of how that works. So just to wrap up here, again, I've kind of given you the meat here. Take a shot at this, post your finished dashboard to Tableau Public, share your link in the comments. Again, I just crossed 10,000 subscribers. You want people to see kind of your work. Feel free to use my channel as a medium. If I get a really, really good subscription, I'm going to shout you out in a video, and we'll go over what you've done here. But again, post to Twitter, LinkedIn. Make sure you put Inspired by Anthony Smoak. Include that hashtag business first. and then you can check out my dashboard version on Tableau Public. So this has been Anthony Smoak. Hope you learned something new with this tip. Again, want to give you guys some good projects to work on and just give you some guidance, and you can have the creativity to do some things with this data. So big thanks to Mark Bradburn at Tableau for the real world fake data. Again, help desk data set. This has been Anthony Smoak. Get out there, do some great things with your data. Thanks for watching, everyone.